Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Contiki video. I thought I'd do another Contiki tips video because my last one I made is actually my most viewed video. So I know that it helped out a lot of people, so I wanted to make another one since I just got back from another Contiki. And currently I'm in isolation because if anyone knows what's going on in the world right now, coronavirus is a real thing and everyone that come back from traveling had to isolate for 14 days. So I'm currently on day 12, so I at least have time to make this video. This video is probably going to be very long because there's a lot of things I want to get through and a lot of dot points I want to share, and they're probably going to be a little bit all over the place because I've just written them down as I've thought about them. I did the Great Britain and Ireland Contiki that went for 16 days. It's an in-depth explorer. It's also a modular trip, which I'll explain in a second. I did the winter one because I went in February, which is actually their winter season, and we also stayed in all hotels. A modular trip is where multiple trips are all conjoined together. So you could either do Great Britain and Ireland, England and Scotland, or just Ireland. So a lot of people started in Scotland, people finished in Scotland, and then some people started in Ireland and finished in Ireland, and then there was a lot of people that did the whole trip as well. So altogether there was about 70 or so people on the trip, but obviously not all at once. So the biggest group we had was 53 people, and that was in Scotland. I also traveled solo on this trip, which was the best decision I've ever made. Last Contiki I traveled with 2 people, and this time, yeah, I traveled by myself, and honestly, best thing I've ever done. My trip started on the 14th of February, but on the 13th of February at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we all met at the Contiki basement at the Royal National Hotel in London for a Kickstarter meeting where we met our bus driver Steve and our tour manager Kerry, and they looked at all our passports and made sure all our documents and information, our next of kin information, was all correct. And then after that we did a 90-minute walking tour of London with a tour guide, and then we finished in Trafalgar Square, and then we got to do whatever we wanted after that. But we were also told at that meeting that we had to be checked out and be ready in the courtyard in the morning by 5:30 a.m. Yes, it was very early start to the day, but the bus doesn't actually leave until 6:30. They just want to make sure everything's ready to go. And plus they do weigh your bags. They don't check the size of them, but they do weigh them. So it's a max of 20 kilos or 44 pounds. The biggest thing I learnt from my trip was putting myself out there. I'm not a very social person, but by the end of the trip, I was a social person, and I gained a lot of confidence on this trip, and I think that's mainly down to traveling solo. So I'm very glad I did that. So the Contiki is made up of England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland are actually 2 different countries. They use 2 different currencies. One's in kilometers, one's in miles, one's in Gaelic, one's in English. So it is completely different countries, and that's something I did learn while I was on the trip. So England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland are all in pounds and miles and English, whereas the Republic of Ireland use euros, kilometers, and everything's written in Gaelic and in English, as that's their traditional language. You also don't stop in Wales, it's just a drive through, but it's also really cool to see the country because it is very different. But yeah, you don't stop, so you don't need to counteract any money or anything like that for that particular country. So as I mentioned before, we stayed in hotels. So if the hotel was in the actual city, it was a little bit more basic, including sexy showers. And I wish I had a photo to show you of a sexy shower, but it is literally a shower in the middle of a room with a frosted glass. It was very interesting. But if we stayed outside the city, the hotels were more luxury, they were a lot nicer, a lot more room, and the food was a lot better. But it's kind of a good mix between the two, because obviously you don't want to be staying in the city all the time with sexy showers, but you would sometimes rather a little bit more luxury hotel. I also paid for a twin share room, which meant I got to share a room with someone. My roommate was Chelsea, and we literally became the best of friends by the end of it, and I miss her dearly. So the whole trip itself cost me $10,000, but the Contiki itself cost me $3,000. I did do a lot of traveling after the Contiki though, so that's why my trip was so expensive. I did save up $7,000 spending money though, but I only spent about $4,000. And a lot of that was after the Contiki. So on the Contiki, I roughly budgeted about 100 Australian dollars a day, and most days I didn't even spend that. The main things I spent money on was food, drinks, and magnets, because I have a slight obsession with magnets and they actually cost quite a bit of money when you convert it to Australian anyway. The Republic of Ireland actually has the exact same power adapter as the whole UK, so you don't need to worry about bringing a European adapter along as well, which is always handy unless you were going over to the European mainland. There is free Wi-Fi on the bus, but it is only 100 megabytes per 24 hours, and let's be real, 100 megabytes does not last long at all. But you can purchase extra if you like. And there's also USB ports on the back of every seat to charge your phone. There is a toilet on the bus. Ours was called Vegas, because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But it is very limited use. So if you can try not to use it, I honestly didn't see anyone use ours at all. So on Contiki, there was only 2 places we could do laundry, which were our 2 night stops. So in Edinburgh and Galway. In Edinburgh, it cost £12 for just a regular size plastic bag full. And then in Galway, it was 15 euros for the exact same size bag, which to me is absolutely ridiculous. But when you're wearing the same clothes over and over again, you really, really want to wash them. So there are free time add-on activities you can do with Contiki that are optional, that aren't included in the original price. So each activity costs extra on top, but yeah, you have the option of doing them or not. So you get given a piece of paper with all the activities, and you can either tick them to say yes, you want to do them, or you don't have to do them if you don't want to. I did all of them except the whiskey tasting in Edinburgh, because I don't drink whiskey, and the ghost walk in York, because let's be real, I don't like ghosts, so I didn't want to do them too. But there were quite a few activities that I probably could have missed out on, one of them being the Jameson's distillery, and it was a bit pointless for me because I don't drink it, and also the Guinness storehouse factory museum thing. Also don't drink Guinness, so I kind of felt like it was a bit of a waste of time for me. Although I did get to pour my own Guinness, which was pretty cool. But yeah, there too I probably could have missed out on. But my 2 top favorite free time activities that we did do was the Kilkenny bike tour. Really, really enjoyed that. It was such a good day, and our tour guide Jason was amazing. And also the Edinburgh Castle, because you have to see that castle, it's amazing, and having a tour guide to explain it all was also really good. So there were quite a few included dinners that were really, really nice. So there wasn't many times we had to go out and buy our own dinner, but there was 3 free time add-on dinners that we could do, 1 in Edinburgh, 1 in Glasgow, and 1 in Dublin. You have to do all 3 of them. They were amazing. Edinburgh had Andy the Piper, which was so cool, and that was when new people joined our trip too, so we got to meet them. Glasgow was in like this dingy pub, but the entertainment was amazing, the food was great, and that was when we said goodbye to all the people that were finishing in Scotland. And in Dublin, which was the last night, at the Mary Plowboys pub, so we got live music, dances, like Irish dancing. It was amazing, and that's like the final night that everyone's together, so that was also like a goodbye dinner. Again, that last one's super expensive. It was like £52 or something, but well worth it. There were also some really, really good included activities on the Contiki. So like driving tours, Blarney Castle, Cliffs of Moher, the Loch Ness cruise. So all these things we didn't have to pay extra for, which was amazing. One of my absolute favorite things on the Contiki was the music in Scotland and Ireland. You really, really have to embrace the music because it's such a big thing in their culture, and I love bagpipes so much, and obviously Scottish, and then the Irish dancing, the Irish music. I to this day continue to listen to Irish pub songs and clap along to them, because there is certain ways to clap. Another thing I did in Scotland as well was get a tattoo. So this is one of them, and the other one is bagpipes on my ankle. But I highly recommend Love Hate Tattoo in Edinburgh, which is around the corner from the Elephant House Cafe if you want a bit of geography. But yeah, incredible. They were really good. The price was good and they were really quick and it looks amazing and I'm very happy with it. I feel like one of the things a lot of people talk about all the time is how Contiki is all about partying and drinking. But realistically it's not. I'm not a partier, I'm not a drinker. It's kind of, if you want to go out, you can. If not, you just go back to the hotel and do whatever you want. In most places, if we went out to dinner or with the bus or something like that, Steve would drop a big bunch of people into the city centre and then we'd get kind of directed where good pubs or clubs were. But again, it's completely your choice. So because I went in winter, it was quite cold. Roughly it was like 0 degrees at night and probably got to around 5, 6, 7 during the day. So pack lots of layers. I wore like 2 pairs of pants and 4 shirts most of the time. Also, the wind is absolutely horrendous in most places. So do not bother bringing an umbrella. It's gonna break. Bring just a waterproof coat, because that's going to be your best bet. And also, don't be that person to complain about the weather. Everyone knows it's cold and it's windy, but Carrie told us that she was a woo girl and to embrace the weather. So that's exactly what we did. None of us really cared about the weather in the end. It was just a part of the experience. You're in the UK, it's bound to rain, it's bound to be windy. Just embrace it. One thing I probably should have mentioned at the start, so I had a big suitcase. I had a carry-on kind of like sport gym bag size that had all my camera equipment in it, and I also had my backpack that was just kind of under the seat on the bus. And then I put my other carry-on bag in the overhead bit, and that was fine. A lot of people had the exact same. I did buy a SIM card. I bought one from Tesco and just put credit on it as I needed. But in the end, I found that it wasn't really worth it. I didn't really need it because there's Wi-Fi everywhere that's free that you can connect to. Contiki is very strict with times, and each day you get given a day sheet, which is like an itinerary telling you exactly what time you need to be where. So when it says at like 8:30 a.m. bags to coach, that means all your bags, you're on the coach by 8:30, so the wheels are rolling at 8:30. Don't be that person that is like lagging behind, holding everyone up. We had to wait for someone until 9:10 one day when the bags coach was 8:30. That then left us with 40 minutes less in our first stop. And you're holding like 50 other people up for one person. Very, very annoying and inconvenient, and everyone's gonna be angry at you. Not gonna lie. There were quite a few places where we got to have free time, so that way if you wanted to go out and see something in particular you could. So the places we had free time was Liverpool, York, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Dublin and Galway. In Galway we had a completely whole free day until 7 o'clock at night where we had to meet up for dinner. So one of the free time activities you can do is the Titanic Museum experience exhibition. Don't really know what to call it in Belfast. We got given 2 hours to look through it, and there's a lot of things to see and a lot of things to read, and I thought I wasn't gonna have enough time, so I quickly rushed through everything. So it turns out I went through it in an hour and then I had an hour to spare. So there is a lot to see and a lot to read, and you could spend like a whole day there just reading, but pace yourself. You have plenty of time. Like I said in my last Contiki video, the Contiki cough is real. Everyone on my Contiki got sick. I didn't really get sick until Galway, which was like our third last stop, but I got very, very, very sick. So take vitamins every day if you can. Bring cold and flu. Just bring every drug under the sun. I said that last time, but I'm not kidding. Take travel sickness tablets as well, because if you're doing the whole Contiki, you're gonna catch 2 ferries. One from Scotland to Ireland, then one from Ireland to Wales. The one from Scotland to Ireland is a much smaller boat and takes about 2 hours. And probably 90% of us on that boat got sick. It was very, very rough, and we were popping the travel sickness pills like left, right and center. And then the one from Ireland to Wales is between 3.5 to 4 hours. It's a lot bigger boat, but still, if you get travel sick easy, just take him. It's better to be safe than sorry. Again, like Europe, you have to pay for most public toilets, which is usually about 50 pence, but just try and keep a little bit of change on you if you do need to use public restaurants. I've also got a few food recommendations written down for each country of things to try, because why not? So in England, you have to try fish and chips with mushy peas and curry sauce. Thank me later. A Cornish pasty. I absolutely love Cornish pasties. They're so good. You have to drink a lot of tea because that's what they do in England, and also try a Yorkshire pudding because they are amazing. In Scotland, you have to try haggis and iron brew. Now, haggis, not gonna lie, when you realize what it's made out of, it's disgusting. So it's made out of pretty much sheep's balls and all sheep's offcuts, which is disgusting, but it actually tastes really nice. It's really weird, but you gotta try it. Don't judge before you try. And in Ireland, try Irish stew, it's amazing. And also try Murphy's ice cream in Dublin if you do go to Dublin. To pay for things while I was over there, I had 500 euros and 500 pounds in cash, and then I had a Commonwealth Bank travel card that I just loaded the currencies on, and I had it connected to my app on my phone, so I just could load it up as I needed it. I didn't transfer a whole big lump sum in case I lost it or something like that. Breakfasts in the hotel are very basic. A lot of like just pastries, cold meats, cold cheeses, toast, cereal, that kind of thing. There was a few places in the more fancier hotels that had hot food. A lot of them were just the basics. I mostly ate pastries and fruit if they had it, or I just wouldn't go to breakfast at all. I'm not really a big breakfast eater, so it didn't really bother me. When your trip manager is on the microphone telling you history, or just on the microphone in general talking, please shut up, because there are people that want to hear what they have to say. There was a lot of people sometimes that just kept talking, and I almost, on many occasions, turned around and told them to shut up. I'm pretty sure I'd said this in my last video as well, but people need to be considerate of others. Another thing Contiki recommends as well is, if you want to, you can tip your trip manager and your driver. They recommend €2 or £2 per day per person. So being the 16-day trip it was, it would have been £32 or €32. And if you think they've done a really good job, which mine 100% did, I absolutely loved both of them. They were incredible. And if you feel like it, tip them some more if you want. I did. I also have written down some pubs to check out in different cities. These were the ones that were my favorite and the ones we went to and had a really good time. So the Cavern in Liverpool was really cool. Live band, full of older people, but it was still really good. And I actually saw James Arthur in there as well. Walkabout in Carlisle. It is literally a decked out Australian pub and it was amazing. Waxy O'Connor's in Glasgow. That was a really good night and they had good music there as well. O'Donnell's Bar in Galway, more of a quieter pub, but it was still really good. Johnny Fox's in Inverness, which is a karaoke bar. The karaoke didn't start until really late and I left before it started, but also a really good vibe. And the last one is Filthy McNasty's in Belfast. And yes, it is pretty much exactly how the title says. It was pretty nasty and filthy, but it was a good night. It was my birthday there, so it was cool. And they had a DJ. If you've ever been on a Contiki before, you'll know that there is a day song and a wake up song. So the day song is the first thing that is played every morning when you're on the bus before your tour manager starts talking. And ours was It's Raining Men by Jerry Halliwell, which was really funny. And our wake up song, which is played just before you get off the bus to kind of wake you up and be like, get your stuff ready, we're about to get off the bus. And ours was The Circle of Life from The Lion King. And it was really funny that that was our wake up song, because I actually went and saw The Lion King the musical before Contiki started. So what a coincidence. You also have the option of buying a group photo from Gretna Green. I feel like I was originally one of the only people that decided to buy the photo, and then when we got the photo, everyone was like, I want to buy it, and it's like, just buy it because it's memories. And now I have it stuck up on my wall in my room. Also, this Contiki shirt is not from this trip. It's from my last one. We didn't get the option of a shirt this time, which was really sad because I would have bought it as well. I'm pretty sure it's only a Europe thing. And if you need to go shopping at all for clothes, Primark is your best bet because Primark is everywhere. It is called Pennies in Ireland, but it's the same thing. If you need any like last minute clothes, or you didn't bring enough clothes, or you're cold, that is your best bet. And it's pretty much in every city too, I think. So that is all the tips and tricks I have thought of. If there's anything I've missed or any questions you want me to answer, just leave it below and I'll get back to you. If you're going on a Contiki soon or doing the Contiki that I have just done, you're going to have the most incredible time. This trip itself was very life-changing for me. It was incredible. Like, I literally don't have words to describe how amazing it was. I know at the moment it is currently the 25th of March. All Contikis are currently cancelled at the moment because of the coronavirus, but you could be watching this at any point in time. So if you're going on a Contiki soon, enjoy it, have the most incredible time of your life, and let loose. Bye.